smile. No matter what things that we had going on, he would always smooth us through it with a smile.
How the community is remembering Richard Goolsby. But first, the Senate impeachment trial has adjourned for the day. House Democrats have now wrapped up their arguments.
They've been working the past couple of days to try to directly link former President Trump's words to the Capitol riot. Their arguments have been centered around new videos of that day. Some Republican senators, including Ted Cruz, arguing the language of the former president doesn't come close to meeting the legal standard for incitement.
Now, Mr. Trump's legal team is gearing up to present its defense starting tomorrow. They're expected to use the First Amendment as a key defense. Some Senate Republicans say a vote on whether to convict the former president could come over the weekend.
I'm going to take a live look out at I-20 near the Savannah River bridges that's going to be brought to us by EarthCam. Just to let you know, there's an emergency lane closure there happening on the westbound lane. Now, that is not the angle we were hoping for, but it is a look at I-20. But this work on I-20 is just starting at 6 o'clock. It'll wrap up at 10 o'clock tonight. They're doing some repairs right there between Exit 1 and the Savannah River. So watch out for that as you head west into from South Carolina into Georgia. Riley, a wet night out there.
It definitely is, Richard. We are tracking that rainfall across the air, and actually a thunderstorm over us here in Augusta. Maybe hearing some of those rumbles of thunder out there. Here's a current look at Doppler Max radar showing that heavy rainfall. This is over near the Bel Air area, just outside of Bobby Jones, so that is extending towards Fort Gordon. Places like Grovetown and Harlem have likely already seen this heavy rain threat and that thunder moving on through. Now, this is moving towards the northeast at about 30 miles an hour. You can see a wider look at the viewing area. These storms and showers are going to continue into Aiken County, Barnwell, portions of Burke as well over the next hour or so. Now, this is all thanks to a cold front that is going to be moving through the rest of this evening and tonight. So if you're stepping out, definitely grab that umbrella. Temps in the 60s and rain chances high. Have a look at your Friday weekend forecast in just a little bit.
Tonight, he was the kind of person who was always there for you. That's how friends describe Richard Goolsby, who died last night after being hit by a car in Lincoln County.
He was the owner of Goolsby's restaurants in Evans and Grovetown, but Sydney Heiberger spoke to friends who say he was so much more than just a restaurant owner.
The soul food at Goolsby's restaurant in Evans today is still being served up hot. Employees tell me Richard wouldn't have wanted it any other way, but the wreath and the sign sitting outside the door indicate their souls are just a little sadder today. There were still lines, there was still food, but there was no Mr. Goolsby.
You can almost guarantee that if you walked in there, you've seen them.
Usually people coming to Goolsby's can expect to take hot food to go, but today it was them who brought warmth to the business, bringing flowers, cards, and memories.
He took time out to sit down and talk with me while I ate my meal, which is something he does with a lot of customers.
Maria Moon remembers Richard Goolsby as a man who took a chance on her when opening up his dream restaurant. He hired her as one of his line servers.
He had faith in me, so I jumped on board and we opened up the restaurant and it was a hit.
Roland Layton remembers him as coach, even though Mr. Goolsby never really coached at all.
Everybody called him coach just because he was on the sidelines with everybody else, you know.
On the sidelines, cheering for his family, his friends, and his customers, leaving a mark every step of the way.
Richard Goolsby was a wonderful man.
You remembered him, that's for sure.
In Evans, Sydney Heiberger, on your side.
RIT found around 6,200 pedestrians died in 2018. Those are the most recent statistics available from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. That was an increase from the year before. Victims are 70% more likely to be men. Nearly a third of the deadly accidents happen between 6 to 9 at night. Also of note, the CDC says nearly half of all deadly accidents with a pedestrian involve alcohol, either on the part of the driver or the pedestrian.
Another pedestrian death just last night in Belvedere. Students in Richmond County have a 4-day weekend starting tomorrow, but 4 schools will not be back in class for about a week and a half. The district says today A.R. Johnson, Langford Middle, Deer Chase Elementary will be learning from home all next week. Willis Foreman Elementary started remote learning today. All 4 schools will go back to in-person learning February 22nd. Non-stop flights from Augusta to D.C. cranking back up today. The direct flight from Augusta Regional to Ronald Reagan National Airport really got started at the beginning of last year.
They were grounded in the spring because of the pandemic, like so many other things. Brady Trapnell tells us what this flight means for our community.
It's one of the more busy weeks airport officials can remember in a while. Flights coming back, signaling the start of the return to normal. The first flight from D.C. in more than 10 months.
This is a small incremental step back to normalcy.
As Augusta Regional gets ready for a busy spring season.
We won't get back to where we were a year ago, but to try to resume some of that activity as soon as possible.
Airport Executive Director Herbert Judon says the flight from D.C. was doing well before the pandemic. It's a frequent flyer for the cyber community, doing government business.
Hopefully, as the vaccine is more broadly disseminated, more companies, including the military, will get back to traveling in person.
Brandy Lesniak flew for the first time since the start of the pandemic. Her layovers in D.C.
I feel pretty good. I think I feel pretty good about it. A little nervous, but
the nerves may be fading away for some airlines, banking on the vaccine and COVID cases falling. Augusta Regional is banking on the spring and what the Masters tournament will bring.
We are confident that regardless of what that number is, it will add some more activity to the airport.
There's already more activity than early on in the pandemic. The airport averaged 12 to 13 flights a day. In the past 2 months, it's up to 15 or 16. Today's flight may be a sign of what's to come.
We're very hopeful and confident that people will use this flight, and as things get better in the pandemic situation, that the airline situation will improve as well.
Airport officials say they expect flights to continue to pick up over the next several months, but Augusta Regional says it's much better than where they were, which was rock bottom. Reporting in Augusta, Brady Trapnell on your side.
The D.C. flights will start off being 4 days a week, becoming more frequent starting in April, as Brady mentioned, but some airports are considering COVID testing. Augusta Regional tells us there have not been talks of that happening here.
Working to vaccinate people in our rural communities. This was the COVID vaccine clinic at Windsor Fire Department we've been telling you about. Rural Health Services, along with Aiken Electric, worked with Windsor to make it happen. Organizers say they wanted to give everyone a chance to get the shot.
There's been much news about people in rural areas not having access to the vaccine. We wanted to make sure that we target the rural community first, and then we'll move on in and we'll be doing one in the city of Aiken.
Rural Health Services says they will be holding more of these vaccine clinics across our area. You can call the number on your screen if you'd like more information. But the next one is a week from today in Aiken County at the old Bilo off of York Street.
Several big chain stores have started giving out vaccine doses today across the country, or will be adding the doses starting tomorrow. That includes CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart. Here at home, it's only Walmart in Georgia and CVS stores in South Carolina that will eventually have those doses. Remember, we also told you vaccines are being sent out to some Kroger and Publix stores as well, but you already know those appointments are filling up quickly there. Right now, slots are full at Kroger and Publix and Walmart and CVS pharmacies that have gotten doses in our area. We've been in touch with all of them today, and they say they don't know when new appointments might open up. It's all about when they get those new doses. Some hopeful news from University Hospital today. They've actually discharged 6 patients yesterday and have no new COVID patients coming in, so that is the first time that's happened in a while. No update today from AU Health yet. They're at 69 patients, 3 more at Doctors Hospital, as they're now sitting at 40. Even with that, this is still lower than both those hospitals were for all of January.
Today, DHAC reporting 1,400 new daily cases in South Carolina. They reported that same number Tuesday, but that's the lowest numbers we've seen since November. This is a chart of the new daily cases since the start of the pandemic from DHAC. You can see as that starts to populate out, we hit that huge spike after the holidays, and now we are on the right trend heading downward. Looking at the state's percent positive rate, at the start of the year, it was 19.4%. Now it's 10.4%, so almost half. So experts say it's definitely a sign of progress.
Which means that we're missing less cases also. So it's not only that the absolute number is coming down, it is reassuring that it's coming down. It's still way, way too high.
Doctors also say hospitalizations are slowly trending down like we're seeing here at home, but hospital occupancy is still at around 81% across South Carolina.
South Carolina's Lieutenant Governor made a stop in Aiken today. Pamela Yvette at the Community Medical Clinic of Aiken County over on Greenville Street this morning. That's Aiken County's free medical clinic. The Lieutenant Governor says she's been touring free clinics across the state to bring more awareness.
I want people in every part of the state to understand that these facilities are here, that they're here and waiting for them and want to help, and that the quality of care, you're not giving up anything by coming to a free clinic.
The Lieutenant Governor says if you want to help out and help reach out to those free clinics, you can do that. They're always in need of donations, and they could always use some volunteers. A new stoplight to tell you about. It's officially up and running in Columbia County. It's on Wrightsboro Road at Gateway Boulevard. The light's been flashing yellow for a few days now, but just changed to full stop and go mode. Be ready for that change if you're driving along Wrightsboro Road. And there are message boards in place there directing traffic in that area.
Chairs that look like superheroes, cartoon characters, even decorated as your favorite sports teams. These are cute. You can pick one up. They can be all yours. They are up for auction. The Aiken Tri-Development Center got them from a local church. They're putting them up for auction, all decorated. The nonprofit helps people with intellectual disabilities, head and spinal injuries, and those on the autism spectrum. Organizers say they were the inspiration for the auction's theme.
We went with the theme of sit at the table, just out of the idea of having opportunities for those we support to be involved in driving the services that they receive.
It's a great idea. There are 16 chairs up for auction on the Aiken TDC Facebook page from the 17th through the 23rd. You can place a bid on the Facebook page or by calling the number on your screen, and the money will stay with the TDC.
Well, a rare February evening for us. We're tracking some thunderstorms over Augusta. We'll take a look at when this rain clears out and then when more arrives in that full forecast.
And the pandemic forcing people to reschedule, even rethink their weddings. Our I-Team looks at what this is costing brides and businesses.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, what are you waiting for?
Call George Sink Injury Lawyers at all nines now.
The sooner you call, the sooner they can help.
George Sink Injury Lawyers has the experience to help you get your money fast. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call all nines.
Love is in the air, but unfortunately so is COVID, and we found more than 40% of couples last year postponed their big day to 2021.
Now here we are in the new year, still dealing with the virus and a backlog of brides scrambling to change those wedding plans yet again. The I-Team's Liz Owens found it's costing both brides and business.
The Office of Consumer Protection saw an increase in complaints about wedding venues and vendors last year. Meanwhile, I found those in the business of weddings are reporting record losses.
20 years ago, I was his daughter's kindergarten teacher.
So John and I met on Tinder, so a very 21st century romance.
It's kind of like a fairy tale.
I knew pretty early on that he was the one.
How long did you wait on a proposal?
The story of Ernie Reed and Kimberly Devine only seems worthy of a fairy tale wedding.
February the 20th of this year was our planned scheduled date.
Nothing went as planned in 2020, and by November,
I just had this uneasiness.
Kimberly and Ernie had made the decision to change their wedding plans.
The more I thought about it, the safety of my family and the people I love is much, much more than just a wedding.
The couple decided to trade their big wedding for a small, intimate ceremony at her parents' home. They told their wedding planner they would no longer need her services.
I can completely and totally understand her keeping the retainer fee, but $3,200?
The I-Team reached out to the wedding planner. She told us she offered to transfer her services to another date, but she could not send them a refund.
I just don't understand how she can validate keeping that money.
Kimberly isn't the only disgruntled pandemic bride. The I-Team found a surge of complaints began flooding the Office of Consumer Protection last March. The majority involved contract disputes and/or negotiations to reschedule, cancel, or obtain a refund due to COVID.
There are so many businesses that are really hurting and really struggling, and my heart just goes to them.
Jana Lacey knows the struggle too. Her sales are down 30% at Elegant Bridals in Augusta.
Have you had brides come in and be like, I can't afford that dress now, or?
Yes. And that's something else we're really trying to work with payment plans, trying to help them out financially as well.
Nationally, the wedding sector lost $30 billion during 2020. Locally, the I-Team found marriage licenses fell nearly 8% in Richmond County.
We're seeing the mini-money being Mini money. What's a mini money? Is where they still want to get married. They're still in love. They don't want to put off, another day. But right now they can't have the large ceremony.
Nearly half of engaged couples cut their budget by 31% in 2020, and more than half cut their guest count by an average of 41%, according to Wedding Market Research.
We had maybe 200, 250 people.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, didn't end up that way.
Sarah Lusk watched her chances of a big wedding fall with each passing month.
By April or May, I was thinking, we may have a problem here.
She's an expert on readjusting plans on the fly. She does it every day here at News 12.
Yeah, it was tough. You start off with this big dream.
But she found herself adjusting,
Lace, and I had ideas for music.
And readjusting.
I already had my first dance song picked out.
Her wedding plans over.
I felt like my whole engagement was a roller coaster.
And over again.
Right now, I'm just pushing back. So right now, it's just services being provided, but later.
Jane has adjusted her services to meet new demands in a changing wedding market.
We have some dresses that are scaled down, that don't have the train, that less formal, and girls are going to City Hall, or either they're getting married in their church, in their home church, with just their family.
Sarah's willing to wait for her dream wedding, but she couldn't wait any longer to marry the love of her life.
The how didn't work out how I planned, but the who was still a sure thing.
Sarah and John exchanged vows in a mini-moni this past December.
At the end of the day, we'll still be married.
Ernie and Kimberly will tie the knot this Saturday. The pandemic may have robbed people of wedding dreams and business plans.
COVID can't take joy away.
They cannot steal love. Experts predict postponed weddings could lead to a sudden surge in weddings towards the end of the year. They also believe smaller, less formal weddings could be a trend to stick around for a while. But big or small, it's never been more important than now to go over that contract and make sure it covers postponing and rescheduling. Not only will it protect the consumer, but also the business owner. Liz Owens, on your side.
And a small silver lining is that everyone is going to be seriously ready to party. When those weddings do roll around, we are going to be in need of a good party.
Can you imagine all the parties that are going to be on those schedules?
Yes.
And our hearts go out to all those couples, especially the brides who have been through it, with
It's
this.
just such a roller coaster, like Sarah said. You do feel for them.
Yeah, but the party is coming.
The party is coming. You can't stop love. You can't stop a good party. Okay, taking a look outside over Grovetown. It is wet out there. We can hear it coming down on our station roof. Riley, how long is this wet weather going to stick around?
We've got some intense rain over us here inside Bobby Jones over downtown Augusta, North Augusta as well. This rain's going to continue for the next several hours across the region, but this intense rainfall over us here in Augusta, this should only last about the next 20, 30 minutes. But it is heavy out there. We are hearing it on our roofs and a few strikes of lightning at times as well, but nothing currently severe. We're not expecting too threatening with this rain moving through this evening into tonight. This is just a wave of moisture moving up ahead of a front that's going to gradually sink its way south and east of us as we head towards daybreak Friday. A wider look at the region, some showers north of that 85 corridor, and still that main front is still out towards Alabama, so there is going to be some time for this rain to continue gradually making its way towards us. So even though we're seeing some heavy rain now, we're definitely not done with it. We have more rain in store as we head into late tonight, and especially Friday and the weekend. So here's a look at this first wave moving on through this evening, the next few hours. Early Friday morning, we're going to start to see those temperatures drop. Our northern counties early tomorrow morning will likely already be down to the mid-40s, close to 50 for us here in the metro, and then that'll be our high temperature, folks. We're not expecting temperatures to increase Friday. It is going to stay very cloudy. Could run into a few patches of drizzle, but those temperatures will remain on the chilly side, most likely remaining in the 40s in the afternoon for many of us. Another round of rain, heavy rain at that, is expected to move in as we head into late Friday and throughout the day on Saturday. Any outdoor plans on Saturday look like a washout, folks. Unfortunately, this is the center of low pressure is just going to track right through the area, keeping those rain chances very high and potentially bringing us multiple rounds of heavy rain, not just light to moderate rain. There will be pockets of some downpours moving through on Saturday. As we roll into Sunday, we'll most likely wake up dry, but as we progress throughout the day Sunday, those rain chances will be going back up. So we are going to be in a fairly soggy pattern over the next several days. Throughout the day Friday, we're not expecting much rain. You may run into some patches of drizzle, light shower, but rain chances will be mainly highest Friday morning before that another wave shows up late Friday night and throughout the day on Saturday. The rain totals are looking more and more impressive as we're seeing these new model runs come on board for us. We're anticipating between 1 to 2 inches of rain by the time we get between now and, say, Sunday, by around Sunday afternoon. This model showing even the potential for 3 inches of rain. Some are going a little bit more, some a little bit less. So this was kind of an in-between model for what we're thinking. So just be prepared for some fairly heavy rain over the next several days. Here's a look over downtown Augusta. You usually should be able to see the hill up Walton Way, but it is gone out there, folks. It is raining cats and dogs over us here in North Augusta and Augusta as well. As we roll into next week, unfortunately, that pattern not really expected to budge. Those rain chances remaining high next Monday and Tuesday.
Basketball state championships coming to Aiken. It could happen, and an early look at golf's most famous Pro-Am without the amateurs. Mike's next with sports.
Your mission. Stand Up Today coverage near you.
We're still tracking some very heavy rain across the metro. This batch of heavy rain where you're seeing this red color currently over North Augusta, that's going to be traveling down Jefferson Davis Highway towards downtown Aiken. So Aiken, if you're not seeing that heavy rain just yet, it is going to be heading your way. A wider look at the region just showing this line of initial showers and even some thunderstorms moving eastward at about 30 miles an hour. Now, more rain is anticipated as we head in late tonight and potentially keeping the chance for a few patches of drizzle during the day on Friday. Current look at downtown Augusta. Unfortunately, our temperatures and all those variables went out today, but we are seeing temperatures fairly warm currently. But as we head into tonight, those low temperatures will be dropping to the mid-40s in our northern counties, closer to the 50s for us here in Augusta and south. But temperatures are not expected to rise during the day on Friday. We're actually expecting temperatures to drop. So those highs most likely going to be hit early in the morning with temperatures most likely in the 40s for many of us tomorrow afternoon. As we head into the weekend, rain chances very high on Saturday. Any plans during the day Saturday looking like a washout. Unfortunately, on Sunday as well, those rain chances remaining high. No pattern change early next week.
Riley, thanks a lot. That's going to wrap it up. For News 12 at 6 o'clock, stay dry out there.
Yes, don't be like me and leave your rain jacket in the car. We'll see you at 11.